Hello, everyone at home.
Good afternoon, Ajahn.
Hello, everyone at home. Yes, we're about to. Can you hear me, Sita?
Good afternoon, Ajahn.
No, they can't hear.
Yes, I can hear you.
Now you
Sarah.
can. Okay, yes, now it's all right. Sita or Nina, would you like to start with any question or topic?
Well, I don't have anything new to ask, but it's good to hear again and again so that we are not forgetful of what the present moment is and of what nimitta is. It's already difficult enough for us to grasp it all.
So it's just now, just seeing now, hearing, thinking, as we've heard and considered so many times. And as we know, each citta arises and falls away in such very rapid succession. So how could it be anything but the nimitta of the reality which appears, no matter it's the citta or the rupa or the cetasika, but it's daily life and it's now. We have all our stories about so many different topics, but life comes down to this moment, the citta arising and falling away now. And because there's no understanding most of the time, it is just a visible object of daily life and it's now. So quickly there is the thinking to attending to the shape, the form, the details and ideas about those around. But the world is just that which is seen now for a moment, crumbling away, that which is heard now, crumbling away. This is the world just at this very moment.
Nina, perhaps you'd like to share with us what you find difficult about nimitta.
Well, everything really. There's nothing that I find easy. But it means I have to hear again and again. Never enough.
But some things you must have understood about nimitta already.
Yes, because we heard the explanation many times that the realities rise and fall so very quickly. It's not possible to understand just one reality, but there are many moments in different processes of seeing and hearing, and then it's just a sign of a reality, the nimitta, that can be understood.
And is there anything more to be known apart from that?
Everything.
Perhaps you're looking for something that's not there.
No, I just realize that I'm just forgetful, and that it's important to hear again and again, to be reminded of the reality.
Is nimitta something that appears?
We learn theory about it, but this does not mean that nimitta appears, but it's there all the time.
But is it something that understanding sees as distinct from the reality itself?
No. Oh, home care calls me. Sorry, home care calls me.
Okay, you take your call.
Yeah.
We can resume later.
You asked Owen, what is shape and form? So I'm asking you, what is shape and form?
Background of the question is when Wen was asking Ajahn what does she mean when she said attending to the one with no shape and form. So, and we were just leaving, and then I asked her, maybe we should start with what is shape and form. And and then I just gave example of what's the shape and form of the sound now. And then she just replied about the high pitch and low pitch. So we briefly talk about shape and form. Basically, is rupa. For nama, there's no shape and form.
But different moment of different realities. Can that be different shape and form for nama?
Can there be different shape and form for nama?
In terms of the reality which does not have any kind of the reality which can experience an object at all.
Oh, are we talking about a degree, for example, loba, the degree of,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, the attachment itself has no shape and form.
There is attachment just only on one object.
No, more than
No
that,
more.
right.
And that is shape and form of attachments be different by degrees that accompany the moment when attachment is there.
But if we say attached to,
we just have lunch and
right,
different colors,
yes,
and we take it from birthday cake
right,
or cupcake,
right,
different shape and form of
yes,
attachment to the yellow color or the pink rose or the red rose.
but the
or the
shape and
white
form
rose.
we refer to the object of
We
cream.
think about something with
Uh-huh.
shape and form. What about that which doesn't have any shape and form?
Right,
But the difference, because when you use the term shape, different visible object, right?
right,
Which can be seen,
right,
and different object of attachment that can be known at that moment.
right,
And the degree of attachment is different too.
yeah,
Can that be the shape, not color, but just the way it is, what degree to what different objects? Even what we take for roses, what color do you like?
right. Visible object is easier to.
So many colors of rose, many roses with different colors.
Right.
Which one or which color you like?
Many.
In one time?
In one time, just one, right?
One color. And the way you like the red one and the way you like the yellow one, is it the same or just a little bit different? To take it for the way it is different is the shape and form of the attachment.
Right.
Not that which can be seen, but that which can be known.
Well, I think most of us are familiar with the reference in the suttas to attachment to shape and form, which seems to be referring to rupas. But are there references also to shape and form of
Because that
namas?
can be known when it's rupa. But when it's not rupa, is there any difference between the colors which is seen and the degree and the way attachment arises to different objects. If we don't just think about shape as
Right.
rupa, the difference, right, of the experiencing condition, shape. If just one moment, one unit, no shape and form at all. But the different ones condition the difference between this and this. So that shape is a difference, is known, right? So the difference of moment of attachment is known too.
Or like
Or
feeling.
just think that it's only shape of the object, which condition different degree, different way of attachment.
Shape and form, we're actually talking about the nimitta and upyanjana. So we're actually, this is the topic of nimitta because it's one color is seen, but there is attending to all the different nimittas of different colors and the details of different colors, the anupyanjana. So actually is quite intricate. So when we're talking about shape and form, it is nimitta.
Yes, but we know that nimitta can have different meanings in different contexts too.
So by the time there's the attending to the nimitta and upyanjana, we're talking about the attending to different ideas about the color. So quickly, as soon as there's the impression of different colors here, different details, then it is the nimitta and upyanjana as concepts, as ideas, making known what is here.
That's why we talk about the reality in order to understand each reality, and then the word comes later. As we know what is meant by different colors or different sound or different smell, because not only one, just only one is not different, but when there are more than that, the difference between one to the other is there. So one to the other moment of attachment and aversion. That's why when there is the understanding of this point, there can be the understanding that even Nama is nimitta.
Right, like different.
Otherwise, how can there be the nimitta of Nama?
Yes, a different degree of Vedana, right? Pleasant.
Different seeings, so different nimitta, different anupyanjana in this way, different details in this way. So that's why I think it's a good point that if there's not the understanding of the realities, however much we read about nimitta, it won't be understood.
Even we don't use the word nimitta at all. It's different. Because not only one reality is there. And even one reality, just one reality, but it arises again, different moment, again, different moment. So that is the nimitta of seeing. Because even it arises in different moments, it arises just to see. So now, it's not just only the nimitta of seeing and hearing. Even seeing itself is the nimitta of seeing. Otherwise, we learn the word, but what about the understanding of the difference of each moment, each reality? So is there now nimitta of seeing? See, we use that word. What does it mean? This moment is different from other moment. And nimitta of hearing. Hearing is not seeing, different nimitta. And just even hearing right now, not one moment only. That's why each moment arising and falling away, but it performs a function of hearing. So it is nimitta of hearing, many, many moments. different ones, but it hears each moment. That's why without understanding, we cannot understand the word, the deep meaning of it. It's not just nimitta of rupa, nimitta of whatever arises.
Dhamma means that it's the nimitta of realities, whatever it
arises.
appears at that time, at that moment.
The understanding has to get closer and closer to the understanding of the nimitta of reality, because when we think about the differences between different colors and pay attention to the different shapes and forms, the different details, different nubyanjana, it's actually the impression, the idea, but the understanding has to get closer to understanding the reality itself by way of nimitta. But whatever is experienced is nimitta.
Because one cannot know like one reality that arises. It has to be because of the nature of the reality that arises and falls away very, very fast. So it appears marked as nimitta, and one can know that reality by knowing the nimitta of that reality that arises at that time, at that moment.
And it's only Panya that can understand, can know. And it's now, it's this moment.
By anatta as well, no self to choose or to pay attention to any realities.
Or experience anything at all.
And can there be the understanding of reality without using even the word nimitta?
Definitely, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because when reality arises, there's no words. There's, even if we heard so many words from Dhamma.
All depends on understanding of the truth, no matter in what language or what word.
Yeah. Yes.
Nimittas and only one nimitta of a reality. So we don't mind what word is used. The truth is the truth. We have to understand that quality, no matter what word is used in different places.
Because the importance is the understanding, not just clinging on the words, which is very hard.
Because the one who doesn't have any understanding of reality at all, they think that a dream is nimitta, only a dream.
Yeah, that's conventional understanding.
See, we use the same word, but what about the understanding of nimitta, that people take a dream for an nimitta, but in truth, many nimittas of all kinds of reality, which arises and falls away.
Yeah.
Also, when we talk about how one color doesn't appear, but there's a tending to different shapes, forms, it is still nimitta. Even when there's thinking about different shapes and forms, it's still nimitta everywhere, all the time. But without reality, there couldn't be any thinking about or tending to different shapes, forms, and there couldn't be any understanding of the nimitta of the reality itself.
And that is the nimitta of only visible object. Or sound, not visible, but it has its own nimitta as well.
Yes. Even thinking of the stories of sound or visible objects, that is appears nimitta of thinking.
Whole story.
The whole
and
story.
Then just one reality.
Yeah. because now everything is mixed, all in one story, everything, but it came from each moment of reality that arises and falls away.
That's why without the understanding of a reality, it's impossible to let go the complex of everything in a moment.
Even all that dreaming about different nimittas without realities, there couldn't be any of that dreaming at all. There couldn't be any thinking about colors and patterns and people if no colors had been seen, no visible objects had appeared. So the whole life is actually living in the world of nimitta. Yes.
Until each single reality, nimittas of reality appears clearly with panya. To panya, I mean.
I think not each one, because it just depends on conditions and accumulations as to what reality appears by way of nimitta.
That's why just understanding only one aspect of a reality is not enough. It's not nimitta now. See, now. And what is nimitta? Before there can be the idea of nimitta, see. And without this understanding as foundation for the development of understanding of the truth, how can there be letting go, even the idea about what it said?
And just before we started the discussion, you were having a little chat with Jonathan. Would you like to summarize your topic?
Okay, I was sharing with John about Nina's good question yesterday about concerning the losing personality of this life. And I thought about a couple of things. I was not sure if it's any value, so I didn't talk about it. But Nina, thank you for the question. Well, for me, I was asking myself, like, yes, I'm concerned about losing this Vincent, this life, and because I still have my daughter and the dog, and what. But I was asking myself, do I feel sad when I lose the personality last life? I don't feel sad about losing the personality of last life for myself. And also there are countless personality in the past. Already countless personality in the past lost already. So, and more to come in the future. So I don't know if that's of any help, but that's what I was thinking about. And then I will check in with and then the following discussion with John was about, we talk about the fourth noble truth, the Banya, and for the first noble truth, dukkha. I was wondering the 3 rounds of the Four Noble Truths, because the teaching of the Buddha is the cessation of the dukkha. So the dukkha and the cessation of the dukkha. So I was wondering if there is a certain balance before everyone entering into the next round. So appreciation of, I mean, because the first round is about the Four Noble Truths, right? And then the second round, the third round. So the teaching is about dukkha. and the cessation of dukkha, the first. And so we talk about the solution of the disease, but if we don't really appreciate the disease, are we still that much interested about the solution?
That's why if there's no understanding, no firm understanding of the first noble truth, and no understanding of the fourth noble truth, there cannot be understanding of the second noble truth, and no idea at all what is meant by the third noble truth.
Right.
So it has to be the firm understanding of the first noble truth, of what is seeing now, why it is dukkha now, and so on.
That's why the clinging to the personality of this life is because forgetting about the dukkha of each moment, or no, it's not worthwhile of each moment.
Do you understand by, or what do you mean by personality? Because different people seem to have used it in a different way. So for you, what is personality?
Well,
What is the truth of personality?
Well, for us, or for me, most of the time, it could be just a wrong view. There's a taking the conduct to be me, to be mine. But it theoretically, intellectually, it's just accumulation, right?
He was just quoting Nina anyway, just to, yeah.
But what's behind clinging of the personality could be clinging to the self, and also could be just clinging to being, to continue.
I think it means the same as identity in this lifetime.
That's what I asked, because that's why I asked, because often when people talk about personality and fear of losing personality, it's just a wrong clinging to the idea of someone that is there, Vincent that is there to be lost, but actually there never was and there never is a Vincent to be lost. So we have the idea of losing this self, but actually there isn't just this self. There are just different citas arising and falling away, different accumulations, but actually they don't belong to me or anyone. So usually what is taken for personality is not the understanding of the nature of different bhavanga citas and nature of different realities for that arise, particularly in this life. The karma that brings its results, particularly in this life. Usually it's an idea of someone there. We don't want to lose me, because what about my daughter? So actually it's not the understanding of anything. It's not the understanding of the first noble truth or any truth at those moments. So the understanding of the first noble truth is the understanding of the truth of reality, the truth of seeing now, which arises and falls away, therefore cannot be satisfactory in any way. What is seen now is not someone, it's not a personality, it's just color which arises and falls away. But so quickly there is clinging to it, clinging to the color, the shape, the form, and so on.
And therefore the other dukkha.
Therefore they are all dukkha.
Aspect.
What is dukkha?
Well, the area on Satcha is the
I didn't answer about Arya Satya. I just what is dukkha?
dukkha.
What does it mean? What is the reality of dukkha?
Well, it's the characteristic of all conditioned Dhamma.
So not just only unpleasant feeling or painful feeling, right?
Not only that, but all of them are dukkha.
Now,
I'm not sure for
what is
condition.
dukkha now?
The condition, the anicca, right?
Everything,
Yeah, every
not just one.
not just one, right?
So what is the one? which is dukkha right now.
Seeing could be dukkha now. Seeing
Seeing,
is dukkha.
okay.
Yeah.
Really?
But just theoretical, just intellect.
Learn
just
to
words.
understand the dukkha of seeing,
Mhm.
that it is dukkha. In what way?
In what way it's not there anymore? It's unsatisfactory. It cannot be relied.
It's not there anymore.
Right.
Sunyata.
Right. No time.
So, does anyone want to have seeing again and again?
Yes.
Not understanding the dukkha of seeing.
Right. Intellectual is not enough to let go.
That's why it is Ariya and Satya-Dhamma. So true.
Right.
Only Panya can realize the truth of it as dukkha.
Mhm.
Seeing arises and falls away right now,
Mhm.
every moment. Is it dukkha?
Yes. The
Okay.
characteristic. Right.
This is the intellectual understanding to lead to develop more understanding
Mhm.
of seeing, but not just by hearing, as we
Right.
said yesterday about the
Mhm.
nature of seeing. See,
Mhm.
it's easy to say that I'm seeing or seeing is seeing, but what is the seeing to be known as no one? And it arises and falls away to say that all dhammas are dukkha, including seeing and everything.
Mhm.
That's why to be satya, true to the truth. Now,
Mhm.
without attention, see, to the characteristic of that which is not that which is seen, even that, it takes quite so many times to hear it again and again and again in order to be acquainted to that which is now seen. Even it's so close, it sees now, but the nature of it is so very deep without considering about the truth that it's hidden so very deeply. Whatever appears is there in life today, but not the seeing itself or the hearing itself. But even so, there are conditions for its arising and falling away. Dukkha, because it's not there at all. As soon as it's not there, it's gone. Sunyata, never to arise again. Is it precious reality? Panya, right understanding, be able to understand the truth gradually until realizing it as a reality arising and falling away. By way of nimitta, only nimitta of seeing appears. So now we are in the world of no understanding at all about that which is now appearing. And the truth cannot be imagined at all. Nothing appears, only that which experiences no shape and no form. So what's the world at that moment? Is there a world gradient?
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, the chitta has to be there.
Mm-hmm. And ignorance is there too.
Right, for Java now, right?
Do we have to say Javana?
Yes, because well, for saying Anusaya is there. Yeah.
Who knows when you say it, it's Javana, if they haven't heard about it before.
Mhm.
That's why we learn about each different moment and use the word to understand what we mean for that moment.
Mhm.
Is it clear now about each word we heard?
even if it's clear, but still too weak, the power is still weak and cannot really compare to the
And who knows?
Chitta can notice that too.
Right understanding
Yeah.
only, no, not chitta. That's why we learn a little more about what are there, even right now, different realities. Only that which appears can be known, but even it's known, how can there be the clear understanding, not just knowing that it's there? It's there. See, it's there. Just the idea that it has to be there. The reality which arises and experiences the object right now is there, as much as there can be known. In the beginning, it has to be firmer and firmer in order for it to appear to the understanding and the attention. Attend to that characteristic right now. It's that which experiences that which is seen.
Right, or heard. Right?
How long will it take to have such moment?
I don't know. I
Because
don't think about
even
it.
we are talking about it,
Right.
it's not that moment yet.
Mhm.
Until it's more and more and more and more firmly established.
Mhm.
Until instantly it's moment of attending to the characteristic of seeing little by little.
By nimitta.
Certainly.
What appear is the characteristic anyway, right?
Now as it is.
Mhm.
As it is now, no different.
Mhm.
Right understanding can understand what is there now, little by little, from hearing, considering, little by little. Patience.
So subtle, even the first round of understanding the first noble truth, because what arises falls away and is gone and is dukkha. And this is also true of all conditioned realities. So now we know the understanding is so precious, but even the understanding itself is dukkha because it's gone. And that which is dukkha, as we discussed before, is actually dangerous, but without really understanding, without directly understanding the rising and falling away, how can it be understood that whatever is conditioned is dangerous? And without that understanding, how can there be the understanding of the cessation of that which is conditioned as being the only way, the only refuge of any kind? Because that which is conditioned, even the most precious understanding, isn't any refuge because it's gone and it's dangerous. Never arises again. So even the first round, the pariyatti understanding, has to develop to be so firm to really understand the truth of what the Buddha taught by the Four Noble Truths. And without the development of the path, the fourth noble truth, there cannot be the understanding of why lobha is the cause of dukkha and anything about the cessation, and even intellectually, even a little.
We start with this discussion about Nina's question about losing personality of last life. I don't know if Nina has, or the present life, right? Sorry. I don't know if Nina has anything want to say. Nina, can I hear you?
Now it is clear that even the idea of personality is already a wrong conception. It is like a story. It doesn't exist really. So we may think, oh, my personality. But even personality, it is something in our thoughts, but it doesn't really exist. It's not a reality. So it's good to be reminded of that. Otherwise, we keep on thinking about personality.
Or we think about it. That was why I asked Vincent, what is personality? The more we think about Vincent here and my daughter and my dog and not wanting to leave this and that, the further we get away, we go from the reality at this moment.
Yes.
More ideas and impressions about personality, but it's not actually any understanding of the nature of Bhavanga Chitas in this life or other accumulations or tendencies. Even when we talk about different accumulations and tendencies, it's just a story about different people. It's not actually the understanding of the Lobha now as just a Dhamma, sunyata, gone already, or the kindness now, a Dhamma, gone already. So quickly, it's the idea of people and things all the time.
Yes, when we think of a dear one who has passed away, we also think of his personality. And that is not the right reality. It's not reality. So we get wrong ideas about death, about someone who dies.
But of course, if there's the attachment, then there will be that kind of thinking. So it's not as though realizing that the idea of personality is just a view is not going to stop the attachment from arising from time to time. But it's useful to reflect if it does arise.
Different moments, for example, we may think about the good qualities of the one we knew as Lodovik, and there may be moments of kusala appreciating those good qualities, but then so quickly it's taken for someone belonging to this one or that one. So different moments.
Can it be time to understand the characteristic of sanya we talked about yesterday? Otherwise, how can there be the understanding of sanya as just there, any moment?
The characteristic of sanya. The characteristic of sanya is to mark the object that's appearing, but is that ever apparent?
Without any mark, can there be anything remembered?
But that's just reasoning, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
By reasoning.
It's there even now, no name.
Right.
See,
yes.
That is seen before.
Still no characteristic.
That's why we learn to understand each khandha little by little and be truthful to the truth. Now, what khandha is attended, really, on the name, on the word, really.
by name. I think, yeah, always
Certainly,
thinking about them.
certainly. It's there
Yeah,
until it's known,
yeah, it's true.
until it's known.
So even sanya,
Everything.
everything can be known. This now.
Otherwise, the self is there, clinging to all, whatever arises and falls away, or in other words, all khandhas.
Very subtle too, very far from.
And that is the only way to let go the idea of self, ignorance, and attachment.
It just known this now. Even sanya should be known at the present moment.
So when we talk about citta and then we talk about sanya and so on, that they are there unknown, without attention to it, with right understanding, it's impossible to appear to be known. Even it's now seeing.
Thank you, Tanajan.
I think it was a reminder that now when we think about this person or that person or Lodevik before or one's father who passed away, it's sanya now at each moment, marking and remembering and recalling and conditioning that thinking without sanya marking this particular sound, this particular idea, no thought about this one or that one or different personalities. So it's just stressing the importance of sanya even now.
Well, certainly we can reflect on that, but as for the characteristic appearing, I think that's another level of understanding altogether.
It's a bit like when we're talking about the Four Noble Truths and the passing away of seeing now or hearing now. And if there's not the beginning of the wise reflection, the wise considering about sanya now and its role now, there will never be the deeper understanding, just like with the arising and falling away of seeing. So there's the considering now, reflecting now as condition for the understanding to develop.
Talking about sanya now will condition to the next level of understanding, as you mentioned earlier.
Well, we know there are some realities that won't ever appear, such as contact. And I don't know whether sanya is among those or not. I don't want to speculate either way. I know it's a separate khandha for good reason. Whether that's to reflect upon the importance of it at an intellectual level, or whether that's as a condition for reflection, which will itself condition the direct understanding of sanya, I don't know. I have no idea.
It can't be known because it's just by conditions, not by wishing or expectations. And if there's any minding, then there's not understanding.
No, definitely, because it's anatta.
It's anatta completely.
But listening to Dhamma and listening to the story of the characteristic of sanya, and not only that, but everything, all the Dhamma that's been heard, it will accumulate, and little by little, as Sarah said, that it will condition the better understanding and the more understanding little by little.
And actually, we need to keep in mind that it doesn't matter what reality appears to understanding, because the understanding of one conditioned reality and the characteristics of anicca, dukkha, anatta apply to any other reality also. And
Yes.
so gradually the understanding of the character, there's a building up of the understanding of the characteristics. And ultimately it's not so much the individual conditioned dhammas. That is not the understanding of the individual conditioned dhammas. That is the enlightening aspect of understanding. It's the understanding of the characteristic.
Yes.
Has a question.
Chan, I'd like to ask about the Sammapadana for right effort. The first one is the effort to avoid the akusala which does not arise. So I'm considering is at the moment of kusala is akusala cannot arise. So I consider it's not the simple meaning as that. So Ajahn, could you please explain furthermore?
Are you just talking about virya?
Virya.
Or
Yes.
you're talking about Sammapadana? See, to learn to understand little by little, clearer and clearer what we're talking about. For example, when we talk about some word, we can talk about the nature of it as cetasika.
Yes.
See, that's why in order to let go the idea of self, what is that at what moment? So are you talking about the enlightenment factors?
No,
Or just now?
Just now is
What cetasika?
is virya.
See, is
Yes.
it now arises?
Almost every moment without seeing, hearing, touching.
So when it arises with lobha, can it be known?
It support loba to attach to the
As long as any reality does not appear to be object of experiencing, that object, the factor cannot be known at all. For example, sanya. See, we just know that it's there, remembering whatever is experienced. But when it's not the object of understanding, we take it for I. That's why how long it takes to develop the understanding of now the path to understand the first noble truth. What now arises and falls away can be directly experienced by nimitta. One at a time, one nimitta at a time.
at the moment of right effort. It's said that it's to overcome the akusala.
Okay, now there is only the idea about citta, the reality which experiences what is seen, and what appears now is only what is seen. Is it virya to attend to the seeing that is not the seen, that which is seen right now? Is that virya? If we'd like to understand anything, we have to come back to this moment and learn from the teachings of the Buddha, the intellectual understanding, what moment virya arises and what moment virya does not arise. And even is there arising, when it does not appear, it cannot be known. Like sanya right now, or citta right now. At this moment, is there virya, see? Not just the moment when it developed the understanding little by little of that which is citta. Virya is there for sure. But can it be known at that moment? No wish to experience anything. Otherwise, it's no understanding of Dhamma as anatta. Even that has to be so firm not to go wrong. That's why now even just understanding a little bit about what is there now appearing or what we are talking about is the right path to understand the teaching. And that is Viriya too. But what level? When it's not Satipatthana, is it Viriya? Virinsi? See, that's why we talk about Cetasika, or the moment when it's different with Kusala or Akusala, of what degree. Different names. That's why there is the term Viriyindriya and Viriyapala. And Eightfold Path, there must be Samma Vayamam or Viriya too. So now what kind of Viriya? It's the unknown until the characteristic of Viriya is known. Then right understanding knows whether it's right or wrong, Kusala or Kusala Viriya. But we learn about it in order to understand what is there cannot be taken for self or I or anything at all. They are different realities. So now again, it's the Viriya. See? Appears only the nimitta of Viriya again.
For anyone who wasn't following all the terms, so Viriya arises at every moment of kusala and akusala. So at moments of kindness, there is kusala Viriya at those moments, but there may or may not be understanding. At moments of understanding, kusala Viriya is there, and it at those moments there's avoiding of akusala. No akusala arises, but the characteristic of Viriya doesn't appear. At moments of anger, strong Viriya is there at those moments. So of course, no avoiding of anything, but there can be understanding of the reality. When there's understanding intellectually, it's not yet the understanding or the Viriya that are Indriyas leading Dhammas. Only when it is the direct understanding, moments of Satipatthana, can the understanding or the Viriya be said to be Indriyas governing Dhammas. And only when it develops further do they become powers. But again, it just depends on the conditions and accumulations as to, even when there is direct understanding, whether Viriya appears or not. And if it doesn't appear, if it's not known now or then the nature is not directly understood. But still, we know that at any moments of understanding, at those moments of Viriya, there is the avoiding of akusala for a moment only, and then it's gone. Sunyata, it's dukkha too.
So I think Hang's question is whether Sammapadana refers to Viriya of a certain level or strength, such as the Viriya that arises at a moment of Satipatthana, or whether it refers to any moment of Kusala Viriya.
As I understand, it has to be at moments when it is the development of the path, at moments of samadhi and all the other sama factors are there. So when it is samavayama, when it is the right effort of the path, only then can it be the samapdana. Yes. So the effort with understanding now, we can call it, we can say it's right effort, but actually it's like the precursor of the right effort of the path.
Because You mentioned it's Picasa. What does it mean? Is precursor.
Leads to, it's like the pariyati is a precursor of the patipati. It leads to the direct understanding. So when it is the patipati, the direct understanding, at those moments, it is satipatthana. It is the right path.
Thank you.
I'm wondering if anyone at home has anything they would like to ask further on this topic. I'm glad to see Tiny Hung, Little Hung, joining us too. And if you have anything you would like to ask about.
Hi, Sarah.
Video?
Sorry.
Okay, carry
Something
on.
with my phone.
Carry on.
I'm so glad to see you again, Jan and John and Sarah. Last time was so busy, a lot of trouble in family, so I was rarely study and but I think sometimes for considerations for what I have learned, I find it so important for the teaching, for studying the teachings. Actually, now I have no question, Sarah. Thank you so much.
When there are troubles in the family, is there anything other than different dhammas, different chittas, cetasikas, and rupas arising and falling away?
Yes, there are.
Yeah.
Just different realities.
Yes.
But when there are there's a consideration. Often I lost in the story of the situation.
It's the same for everyone. Like Azita gave a good reminder yesterday, she mentioned about having been lost in the story of feeling sick and her flu, and how helpful it was to be reminded there's just one chitta after another in reality. So usually it's like that. It's like lost in the dream, but occasionally there can be a little waking up to the truth at this very moment. So that's why we come back to this moment.
Yes, Sarah. Last time when I got so much problem in my family, so I realized that by the only way is understanding the teachings. That's the only way to solve any problem, to overcome any matter in life. And that's the only way.
I appreciate
just to realize that.
I appreciate your understanding and good reflections, Hang. And as you appreciate, the real problems in the end are not the family or the trouble or the situation, but just the ignorance now, the clinging now, the dosa now. So this is why it comes back to this moment. And they don't belong to you or me or anyone. And this is daily life. Jonathan's.
Well, I was just going to add that earlier we were talking about grasping at the nimitta and anupyanchana. And I suppose one aspect of this we can say is grasping or being caught up in the situation. And that's what happens when there are problems in the family or other things. It doesn't have to be special. It's a normal part of daily life, but especially so when an abnormal situation occurs. So it's not easy to remember. It's easy to forget that it's just more of the same, grasping at the situation.
Thank you, John. I'm so happy to listen to you again.
Nice to hear from
Hear
you.
your voice again. Very happy, John. Thank you so much.
Azita, did you have anything else you would like to bring up today?
Did you say Azita or Zita? Can't hear you.
Because your picture appeared on the screen. Yes, anything else you would like to add to Hang or bring up for yourself?
Yeah, there is one question, and I think my query came out of what Vincent was talking about, nimitta, but my question is about rupa. So jittas arise and fall away and experience objects, and rupas arise and fall away. Does rupa condition rupa? I mean, how does if jittas are arising and falling so fast, and the rupas are falling away, why does it appear like it's a tree or something? So how does that continuity happen? Do rupas condition rupa?
As you know, the rupas always arise in a group, and the derived rupas are conditioned by the primary rupas. So the primary rupas condition each other, and they also condition the other rupas that arise together with them. And the heat or the temperature in that group conditions other rupas outside the body. So there are groups of rupas being conditioned all the time. But as to why there is the idea of a tree, because countless visible objects are seen, countless sounds are heard, countless tangible objects are touched, and sanya is marking what is seen, what has been touched, what has been heard before, enough to condition the impression of that shape, that form, those particular colors, and eventually the idea of a tree, this kind of tree, that kind of tree. So different rupas, but actually different colors that are seen, different shapes, different forms, different impressions, all leading to the idea of tree, just like the idea of a person here, different colors, different shapes, different features, sounds, ideas of different voices, ideas of masculine, feminine, and so on, until there is the idea of Hung or Vincent here.
Zita, I think the answer to your question isn't really explained in the teachings. Why does the rupas that are taken for a tree keep appearing one after the other, right?
That's my question. Yes. Why does it suddenly not turn into something completely different?
I haven't seen an explanation for that.
Okay. And I was thinking, I've brought this subject up before, and earlier I was writing down the question, I thought, how come I don't get it? But you've explained why, because it's not fully explained why it continues to look like a tree until there's a fire or a cyclone and it goes.
And I think the reason it doesn't appear is that it's not a useful piece of information in terms of developing the path. I mean, of course,
Okay.
it's just speculation about the outside world, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't really help to understand anything that's going to lead to enlightenment.
Okay.
It can't be directly known anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good enough. Thank you. That's my only question. I think that's my yeah, that's my only question at the moment. Thank you.
I may have missed something here. And my apologies if I have, but why does a tree continue to look like a tree? It's visible object, what visible object presents itself. And the seeing and the nimitta, and as that grows into the shape and form, the concept of a tree, it just, I'm probably being too simplistic, but it just seems to me that a tree is a tree when you look at a tree because of the colors and the nimitta and memory.
I think her question is, why is a tree in the first place?
I would agree we can't answer that.
Or Ajita, do you mean the tree look as continuous the same? Looks
Yes, Vincent, because we're told that jittas arise and fall away extremely quickly. And so, and then I guess there's a bit of haziness about how come the object becomes a thing, becomes something, how come what is seen, and it's got that object has got to be seen again and again to become a tree. Or because in reality it's galapas arising and falling, isn't it? That's what the reality is, that there's galapas with the minimum of 8 rupas arising and falling all the time. So, but I think, like Vincent, as John said, there's no clear explanation in the teachings about why that is. It just is. You look as puzzled as I feel.
the fire stick similarly, or because you have a fire stick and then because Chitta is the magician, right? The fire stick with Sanya help, and then you move very fast. It looks like a circle, but it's actually just one point.
I think her question is more fundamental than that. Like what connects the planets and the worlds and mountains and trees? That's a sort of answer, but doesn't take it any further, does it? Just we don't know niyama.
I think without a reality which experiences an object, can there be any idea?
Without the reality, no, there can't be any idea of tree or whatever.
So now there is memory of that which is seen and thought about, right?
Yes.
It's a moment of that object, which where object appears to be seen. So in truth, tree is only the idea about something which is experienced through the eye, on and on and on, different moment, condition, different shape and form, to be thought about, to make it known as something different from other things, not just a tree. What about the mountain, the fish, the home, the shoe, the cup, everything.
Yes, Ajahn, that's correct. And that's my question. Why does why does the tree continue to be, why does the tree, if it's arising and falling, why does it stay a tree? Why does it stay a tree? Because tomorrow I'll come out and that tree will probably still be there unless somebody comes and chops it down tonight.
Which tree?
Well, that one out there.
How many trees? How many trees are there?
Well, I guess there must be many trees because it's Jitta that sees it's Jitta that sees supposedly a tree. So with many Jittas, there must be many trees.
So what is thought about right now?
Obviously the tree.
Or the word?
Or the word. Or my puzzlement about why.
The word, see, no matter what thinking is, it's just about the word. I will go. I'll see the tree. How the tree stay there. See? So there are two different levels of thinking. One is not thinking in words, right? Just looking and thinking about shape and form, not word yet. And then at the moment when there's no seeing and thinking in words about what is experienced, the tree stay there, how long, how many trees, and so on, all words. So what is the absolute realities? Now, just now, because the truth is in just a moment and then gone. That's why we learn to understand what is there, because it is really there, but it's not known as it is. It's there only when it appears. And how many moments of appearing, depending on how many moments of seeing. Different reality by way of nimitta, that's all. And keep on thinking when there are conditions to think about it. At moment of sleeping, no thought about any tree at all. No word about anything. See? So the truth is that actually, what are there are only different realities. One kind of reality is that it can experience an object. Whenever it arises, it has to experience an object. It doesn't have any shape nor form at all. Nothing as rupa, smell. Imagine it's there, experience, no matter in sleep or when it's there now. Talking about anything, it's there all the time. Unknown that it's not there anymore. As soon as what appears, it's not there, it appears. And in truth, it appears quicker than that which appears, which see now, right? That's why we learn about the truth to be directly object of experience when time comes. Not just thinking about now, seeing is not permanent, it's there. But without understanding seeing, the actual seeing, the reality which just sees, how can there be the understanding of that moment as no one there at all? Only when there is a little more understanding of the truth of seeing, it let go the idea of I see. But before that, we are talking about seeing right now.
So it must also let go of the idea of that tree is permanent.
If there's no thinking about it, it's still there.
Well, no. At
the moment you think about it, in your thought, it's there, but only in your thought, it's not seen.
So I'm beginning to see that attachment and misunderstanding makes up our world.
That's why we live in darkness, not understand the truth that Buddha had enlightened of
Right.
each reality, so short as just one moment at a time. And how many realities are there together experiencing an object? By way of nimitta, when it appears only as a nimitta of a reality. And many moments condition nimitta of a thing or something or I. Is it true? Just consider the truth, that's all. And right understanding is moment of understanding the truth, depending on how deep it is. So the truth now is seeing, right? It's conditioned to see. No tree, right?
Well, it's hard to. I guess I am also beginning to see just how deep and subtle the truth is, and that it does take a very, very, very long time and probably lots of patience.
Yeah.
But, you know, when even saying patience, I'm thinking I need more patience. So it's a long, long path and a very deep and subtle one.
And that kind of understanding can just let go little by little, the clinging to the idea of self.
Yes.
Until right understanding develops to higher degree, direct understanding of what is the now appearing.
Right.
No tree now. Right?
I'm not going to look out the window to see
It
if
won't help, Zita, because I think among the tendencies we have is the tendency to speculate about this and that. And everyone has it to a greater or lesser degree. And when we become interested in the Dhamma, of course, then this tendency is there. So we speculate about aspects of the Dhamma that
right.
are not among the handful of leaves that the Buddha disclosed. So things that, not
But that's a good reminder, John.
pertinent to gaining the understanding that brings the end of cessation of dukkha. He may not disclose, and so speculation about those is pretty fruitless.
Thank you.
We just have a few minutes if anyone has any simple question they'd like to bring up today, or anyone would like to make a last comment. Alan, we haven't heard from you for a while. Anything you would like to bring up or mention?
We hear in the texts about putting down the burden. So they often say that the person who attains arahantship has done what is to be done. They've laid down the burden. So what is meant by laying down the burden?
Where is the burden?
I think the burden is not understanding reality now, because then we have, through not understanding that, we are stuck with the idea of self, which is a burden, and we are stuck with attachment and aversion, which is a burden.
So what lay down the burden?
The understanding of reality as it is.
Yes, now.
No one. Yeah, so now the burden is now.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
there until right
Yes.
understanding can lay it down little by little,
Right.
gradually.
Right. Yeah. And I
As you
remember,
say,
I think,
sorry, just one quick comment. As you say, the ignorance is a burden, the attachment is a burden, but in the ultimate sense, whatever arises and falls away is a burden because it's dukkha.
okay, yes, I see that each reality itself is a burden.
The arahat, no more becoming, because no more arising of any reality.
Yes, yes.
It's also said that the conditioned realities are oppressive. So when there is the enlightenment that brings an end to, or is the beginning of the end, that is going to lead to the ending of life in samsara in that lifetime, at the end of that lifetime, then one is, I think, said to have laid down the burden because of having rid oneself of the oppressive nature of life in samsara.
I remember, Jonathan, I think once you said that that the unenlightened person is not sane or is not considered sane. Presumably, you mean by that they are stuck with the idea of someone or somebody or something. I mean, so the ordinary person is not sane. What's meant by that? Was that you might have been Sarah? Or...
I think that's an expression that is found in the teachings, in one of the suttas in particular, and it refers to the fact that the world is not seen as it truly is, and so people act in a way that is governed by wrong view and attachment. And so this is why the arahat, the person who has attained final enlightenment, cannot live among householders, because it would be to the enlightened being, it'd be like living in a madhouse. People running around governed by attachment, wrong view, ignorance, no sense to their life at all, no realization of the oppressive nature of life in samsara. So on a different level.
Yeah, thank you.
Worldlings are said to be insane, mad, taking the tree for being something, for existing, taking these people for existing, for their personalities to exist as self, and so on. So it is madness. So it's living in madness without any understanding of the truth.
Thank you.
Also, if I can add, yesterday Jan was talking about Chetana as the factor which does the work. So laying down Chetana as well, no more work for Chetana, nothing, no more karma, nothing more to do, because Chetana stops to operating, stops to work. Stops to make karma.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chetana now is work very hard every moment. And also that which arises with Chetana, condition it to perform the function of coordination harder and more unknown. And that is a burden. See, all Chetasikas, ignorance is there. So the self is the burden in life. Because wrong understanding clings too much, so much, go around bad or madman all around about all kinds of whatever experiences now, right? Mad moment. See, it can be thought about deeper and deeper to understand the danger of it, of whatever arises and falls away, never to return. What fall, only the burden on the shoulder, more heavier and heavier each moment of clinging to it as I. And there is only way to let go of the burden, to let down, understand the truth. Not only at moment of listening, intellectual understanding, but even right now, there can be a moment of direct understanding of the truth of what is there. We heard about long time ago until today. It is as it is. So it takes quite a long time. Unexpectedly, when we'll be conditioned to directly understand it deeper and deeper, to realize the truth, which is so close. Nothing is as close as what is there now, but so far from understanding.
I think John just answered the question, because it's not so much the tree or the bird or the flower. It's this reflection in the mirror of this rupa, of this thing, which is conditioned by so many conditions, that is taken for the self, that is the fascination, that is the burden. So you answered, Tanajan, beautifully the question before I even asked it. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
And Alan, just briefly from a sutta in the Samyutta Nikaya, the 5 aggregates are truly burdens. The burden carrier is the person. Taking up the burden is suffering in the world. Laying the burden down is blissful. Having laid the heavy burden down without taking up another burden, having drawn out craving with its root, one is free from hunger, fully quenched.
Thank you. Yeah.
Is there now madness?
Yeah.
Seeing only visible object, but taking it for something all the time, as people and things. Talking to what now? Visible object all around. Madness. Talking to Rupa or talking to what? Anyone or anything?
And this is why there are layers and levels of burden. So we can appreciate that ignorance or clinging is a burden, but in the deepest sense, whatever arises and falls away is the burden to be let go of. And only the Arahat has let go of the burden in the deepest sense, no more becoming at all.
Beginning to understand ignorance and madness and attachment of whatever now is appearing, only colors all day, any moment in life. See, just thinking about so many different concepts.
Thank you, Ajahn. We'll finish here, and tomorrow.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Discussions all day.
Thank you.
1:30.
So much.
So hope
Thank
to
you,
see
Sarah.
tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan.